Hi, hey, hello. It's me, Teacher Donna, and I am here to welcome you to this lesson on long division using racks and tubes. In this lesson, you will learn all about racks and tubes, which is an awesome Montessori math material found in elementary classrooms. You will also be enhancing your division skills today, so yay! Now, before we get going with all of the division, we should first discuss what you need in order to be successful with this lesson. Let's check it out. All right, so what you need for this lesson is paper. Everybody's going to need some paper. You also need a pencil. You'll probably benefit from a trusty eraser as well. So paper, pencil, and eraser. You will also need the racks and tubes material for double-digit divisor division. If you have the racks and tubes material available to you, now would be a great time to collect those materials and bring them back to your workspace. I will be right here having a short dance break. Mm, mm, uh, uh, mm, 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 mm. Don't have the racks and tubes material? No problem. You can follow along as I complete the question using my digital racks and tubes material. And just to let you know, here at Project Creative HQ, we offer two types of this division material. That's right. You can check out the link in the description to see our printable and our digital versions of the racks and tubes math material. Okay, there's something else you need for this lesson to have some success, and that would be experience using racks and tubes for single digit divisor division. That is right. Before moving forward with this double digit divisor division lesson, it is important that you have experience using racks and tubes to solve single digit divisor division questions. Now, you can check out our blog for a step-by-step guide on how to use racks and tubes for single-digit divisor division. And again, you can find find the link in the description. And also check out this stop motion of a single-digit divisor division question using our printable racks and tubes material. Isn't it awesome? It really makes me smile. Okay, this is what you're here for, right? Double-digit divisor division. Can you say that 5 times fast? Okay, that's impressive. Very good. Now, we're going to do some long division today, and we're going to use the Montessori racks and tubes material to do it. But first, we must warm up. Now, before we start dividing, we need to warm up our mathematical minds. The brain, like any other muscle, needs preparation before big work. And what better way to get the mind thinking than a joke? Let's check it out. Okay, I have a good one for you. Swimmers love one kind of math more than all others. But what is it? Now, I'm going to let you take a second to think this over. And while you're pondering there, yeah, let me give you a hint. Okay, think of the 4 basic operations in math. I think I've said too much. All right. Do you think you have an answer? Well, let's see. Let's see what the answer is. Division. Get it? Division? Division? It's a good one, right? Cute. Now, this joke makes me love division even more. What about you? Do you like division? If you don't, that's totally understandable, but just keep an open mind and maybe you'll feel differently about division after this lesson. Okay, one more warm up activity before we dive into division. See what I did there? Ah, this adorable little cat is hiding a mystery number under this secretive rectangle. And it is our job to guess what this number is using the clues outlined over here. All right, so let's take a look at those clues together and see if we can figure it out. All right, clue number 1. I am a 4-digit number. Okay, you know what? This might be a great opportunity to put that paper and pencil to the test and maybe even the eraser. I'm not sure. So let's get them ready. Now, I have here, we are working with a 4-digit number. All right. Clue number 2, let's see. In my number, there are only 2 different digits. Okay, that's helpful. Let's see. Clue number 3. Ooh. The sum of all my digits is 6. The sum of all my digits is 6. That's not a very large sum. And here we have the 4th clue. My hundredths digit is less than 2. That's very telling. All right, we're getting somewhere here. Now my tens digit is even. My tens digit is even. Okay, we're working those number families here. And we have one more clue. I think this will help you out. The order of my digits is least to greatest. Least to greatest. Okay. Who am I? Who am I? Well, I have a guess. Do you have a guess? Isn't this fun? Okay, should we take a look at the answer? Let's take a look at the answer. Dun, da, da, da. Ah, 1,122. That is the number we were looking for. Did you get it? Me too. All right, it's almost time to start dividing, but first, we should probably look at what's involved when we do divide. Let's check it out. So, before we start dividing, we need to take a step back and understand what it really involves. So, let's take a look at the parts of a division question. Here we have an equation written horizontally across the page. We have 4,116 divided by 42 equals 98. Now, there are 3 important numbers in there that we should acknowledge and understand. So first, the first number in the equation is the 4,116, and that is our dividend. Our dividend is the bigger number, usually, and that is the number that we are splitting up or sharing equally, we can also say. That is our dividend. And now the next number here, the 42, that is our divisor, and that is the number we are dividing by. And then we have my favorite part of the division equation, which is the answer, also known as the quotient. It just feels so nice to say that word, quotient. Now, you'll notice here that you can also write a division question where the quotient is represented vertically above the dividend, like you see here. The 98 is located above the dividend, 4,116. All right, we have the parts of a division equation here. Now, since we'll be working with the racks and tubes math material for division, we should probably take a look at the parts of this magnificent Montessori material. Come with me, we'll take a look. I am a huge fan of the racks and tubes Montessori math material. It may look super complex here, and it kind of is, but it's So fun and super helpful when dividing big numbers. And here on this slide, we have the same equation as the previous slide. 4,116 divided by 42 equals 98. But what you'll see here on this slide is that there are many parts to this division material. So it's important to know what we're dealing with here. Let's start with the dividend, as we did on the previous page. So we'll talk about the dividend, and the dividend is made by using these color-coded beads. They are used to build the dividend. You should find 10 beads in each tube. Now these beads will go into the color-coded cups over here to show the dividend. All right, now the second number in our equation is that divisor. And since we are working with a double-digit divisor, we need to have two division boards. One is green, and that's for the unit family. And the other board is blue, which represents the 10 family. Now, these interesting little pieces up here, these are called Skittles, not the candy. These are Skittles, and they are used to represent the divisor. All right, now the divisor will also be represented on these boards. Okay, so now it's time to get solving a double-digit divisor division question together. Are you ready? I think you are. All right, here we go. Together, we are going to work through this division question using the Racks and Tubes Montessori material. 49,082 divided by 23. We want to know how many times does 23 fit into 49,082. Now, you might forget how to use this math material, or maybe you have no idea where to start. I just want you to know that that is okay, because that is what I am here for. So follow along, pause when you need to, and take in the greatness that is Racks and Tubes. To start, I like to build the dividend. I like to build the dividend so much that I already built it using the color-coded beads and cups. What I need you to do now, if you have the materials available to you, is build the dividend 49,082. Now, I like to start building numbers with the units and then work my way up. In my green units cup over here, you'll see that I have 2 green beads in there. All right, in the tens cup, I have 8 blue beads. You see where I'm going with this? But wait, there's nothing to put in the red hundreds cup. Be sure to leave this cup empty, no beads in there, to represent that it is 0. 9 green thousands for blue 10,000s. All right, there it is. Your dividend, 49,082. Now it is time to build the double-digit divisor. This is where the Skittles come in. No, not the candy. Again, I'm going to start with the number of the units in the divisor, which is 3. So we have the number 23, and I'm going to start with the 3 units. So I'm going to take 3 Skittles and put them on the first 3 spots of my unit board. All right, so now I have represented the 3 of my divisor. It is time to represent the 2 in the tens spot. So I need 2 Skittles here. I'll represent them on the tens board. Okay, great. So look at this. I need you to just take a moment and acknowledge what you've done right here. You have built the question. Good job. So now it is time to divide. Similar to single-digit divisor division using racks and tubes, we start by bringing down the largest number family from the dividend over to the division board. So since we are dealing with a double-digit divisor, we bring the largest number family down to the largest divisor board. And in this case, that would be our 4 in the 10,000. So we'll bring that down to the largest divisor board. But again, we are dealing with double-digit divisor. So both of these boards need a cup at all times. So we're going to bring down the next largest number family of that dividend, which is the 9 beads in the thousands cup. Okay, so here we go. Each board has a cup. We can now divide using our double-digit divisor. Yay! But I need to know, has anyone ever told you just how polite division is? Well, it is all about sharing after all. And that is exactly what we are going to do next. We are going to share the beads evenly, to each of the Skittles. All right, so follow along as I share my beads to the Skittles in this particular order. I will start with the tens board. And after I have shared with both of the Skittles, I'm going to move across the board. I'm going to move horizontally and share with those 3 Skittles on the unit board. All right, so each of our Skittles have received 1 bead. There are still more beads to share out. So let's continue this process of sharing this very kind mathematical adventure. All right, so here we have, everybody has the same amount of beads. And here now we have 0 beads left in the blue cup. So we cannot divide any further right now. What we can do, though, is we can collect our partial quotient. We can collect part of the answer here. And how we do that is I like to ask the last Skittle on the unit board. I like to ask this Skittle, or I like to find out how many beads did that Skittle get. So let me see, 1, 2. There are 2 beads under that Skittle. And so that means that I'm going to put a 2 in the answer spot. But where in the answer spot, you ask? Let me tell you. Since we are dealing with the thousands family on the unit board, I'm going to write that number 2 above the thousands family in the question. So here I'm going to record 2 above my thousands family. So let me let you in on a little secret here. The unit board is very telling. It's very telling. It'll tell you where the answer should go for your question. So this is pretty helpful. We'll see how it works again as we continue with this question. Okay, so we know that division is very polite, but it is also very good at teaching etiquette and how to tidy up after yourself. That is what we're going to do now. We're going to clean our board because we cannot share anymore. We're going to go on to our next number family, but first we must clean. In order to do this, I need you to remove all of the beads from your board and put them back into their tubes. For me, this is a little bit easier. I'm going to highlight all of my beads and I'm going to hit delete. They're all gone, cleaned up. Now, because this blue 10,000 cup is empty, we can move it over to the side. We are done with it for now. And what we need to do is we need to move that thousands cup over to the 10 board because it is now the largest number family in the dividend. Oops. All right, so we're going to move it right over. Okay. And now we look at our dividend here, and we're going to take the next largest number family, which is the empty hundreds cup. Okay, how is this going to turn out? Well, let's start sharing and find out. So I am going to take my beads, my green 1,000 beads, and I will share them with the Skittles. But here we're a little bit of a problem here. We have no beads. We have no beads to share. But from your experience with racks and tubes for single digit divisor division, you might be familiar with exchanging. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to exchange this 1,000 bead for 1,000 beads. So I'm going to get 1,000 beads and you as well follow along. Now make sure that your tube actually has 10 beads in it. I have seen beads that only have 8 or 9. And believe me when I say, I have seen a tube with 11 beads. So we have to be very careful that we are bringing the correct number of beads to the cup. All right, now another important part of this is bringing this bead back to a tube. Oop. And that is because we no longer need it. We exchanged it. It is no longer part of this equation anymore. It has been exchanged. Okay, so now we can continue to share. We have not shared any 100 beads because we did not have any. And now look at us. We have beads to share. Okay, great. Remember what I said when that blue cup was empty previously? We couldn't do any more moves here. We can't share any further. We're at the same situation here. Our green cup is empty, and that's totally fine. What we need to do now is find our partial quotient. And again, I'm going to go to that third skittle on the unit board, and I'm going to take a look and see, how many beads does that one skittle get? And that one skittle gets one bead. Where will that bead go? You might know. You might know that if you are listening carefully. But let me tell you, because we are dealing with the hundreds beads in the hundreds cup on the unit board, we're going to put this answer of one bead, we're going to put that on above the hundreds spot in the equation, in the question. All right, so I'll put my one there. Excellent. So we are moving, we're making progress in this question. Now it is time to clean up, clean up. Everybody clean up. That's right. You're going to clean your board. We're learning a lot of skills in this division lesson today. Now remember, if you ever need to stop and pause for a moment to figure out where you are or catch up to putting beads away, don't worry, pause this at any time. This is the great thing about video, right? We can continue when you are ready. Are you ready? Okay, so let's move that green cup out of the way. We are finished with it. Thank you. It served us well. And now what we're going to do is we're going to bring that red hundreds cup over to the tens board because now it is the largest number family left. And we will bring the tens cup with the 10 beads down to the unit board. Do you know what to do now? Well, let me tell you. We're going to share. We're going to share starting on that tens board. We're going to share one bead with each skittle. Oops. One bead with each skittle. And at this point, maybe there's a chance that you're moving at a quicker pace than I am, and that's okay. Because you know what to do. You're just going to share these beads evenly amongst the skittles. All right, so here we go. We are sharing. And this is usually the time in a question where I like to make a little bit of a guess, an estimated guess as to what the answer to this equation is going to be. What's the quotient going to be here? All right, so we are still sharing. Now, if you're at the same point as me, I am sharing so much until I cannot share anymore. And then I ask myself, but can I share anymore? I sure can, because I have 100 bead here that I can exchange. I can exchange that 100 bead for how many 10 beads? 10. 10 beads. And that is because what is 10 times 10? 100, which is why we are exchanging that 100 bead for 10 beads. All right. And don't forget to put that red 100 bead back into a tube because it is no longer needed here. And also, don't forget to finish sharing. It is easy to forget, but we have to remember there's one skittle that is missing a bead. So we have shared evenly with the skittles, and our red cup is empty. We cannot do any more sharing, but what we can do is record our partial quotient. So again, I'm going to take a look at that third skittle. 1, 2, 3, 3 beads for that skittle, and these are the 10 beads on the unit board. So that tells me that I'm going to put that number 3 above the 10 spot in the question. All right, now I'm going to move my beads back up here. And it's time to clean. It's time to clean. Clean your board. Let's see, it's time to move this cup over because we need to make room. Whoa, we have one more set of movements to make here. So I'm going to move this tens cup with the tens beads over to the tens board. And then I'm going to move this units cup with the units bead to the units board. It's kind of like a family reunion of sorts. All right, now I'm going to leave this up to you to follow along silently because I think you know what you're doing by now. And if you don't, that is absolutely okay. Just follow me. Oh, we did it. We have shared all of our beads out evenly, and it turns out that this is a perfect question. This is a perfect question. Both of our cups are empty, and so there is no more sharing to do, but what we can do is record that last part of our quotient. So I'm going to take a look at that third skittle on the board, and I'm going to take a look, 1, 2, 3, 4 beads. Again, because I am working with the unit beads on the unit board, I'm going to record the number 4 above the unit place in the question. All right. And just when you thought you were finished with this question, we kind of are, we really need to put into practice finishing what we started. So we started on this board and it was very clean and neat and tidy. We have to leave it that way, or maybe even better. So take a moment to clean up your materials, clean up your workspace. I'm going to put my beads away. There they go. And also move my cups out of the way. And then here we go. My friends, we have an answer to the question 23 fits into 49,082 2,134 times. Now, this is a perfect question. This is a perfect question, and there is nothing left over afterwards. Now, not all questions end so perfectly. So, how about we try a question that, let's say, isn't so perfect with its quotient? It is time for question number 2. Are you ready for this one? While this question is smaller in size, it does carry its own weight in learning opportunities. So let's take a look at this question. Here we have 649 divided by 53. So we want to know how many times does 53 fit into 649? Now, similar to the last question, I'm going to have you start by building your dividend. And as you can see, remember, I like it so much, I've already gone ahead and built my dividend. Let's take a look. I used 9 green beads in my unit cup. You'll see I have 4 blue beads in my tens cup. And in here, scattered around, I have 6 beads in my hundreds cup. So there is my dividend. If your dividend is not built yet, just pause this and get yourself ready. And then you will be building the divisor. Our divisor in this question is 53. Remember, I like to start by building numbers by the unit. It just works for me. So I'm going to get 3 green Skittles and put them on the green unit board. Then I'm going to gather 5 Skittles, 5 blue Skittles to put on my blue tens board. Okay, so here we have it. We have our divisor of 53, and we're going to see how many times 53 fits into 649. And we're going to see, is it a perfect equation? Is this question perfect or not? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's divide. All right, so I'm going to take the cup and beads of the largest number family, and I will bring them down to the blue tens board. Great. But remember, we are dealing with double-digit divisor division, so both of these boards need a cup. So I will bring down the next largest number family in that divisor, and that would be the 4 blue beads in the tens cup. Okay, looks like we have plenty of beads to start dividing. Here we go. Sharing is caring, and division cares. So here we go. We're going to share 1 bead with each of the Skittles. And we will move horizontally across the board to the next number family and share as well. All right, let me see. There is some beads left. Okay, so we have shared evenly. There is not some, there is 1 bead left in this red hundreds cup. There's also 1 bead left in this blue tens cup. What do we do? What do we do? Well, we cannot do any more sharing. We can't share anymore. I cannot give 1 Skittle 1 red bead. It cannot be done. So what has to be done here is we need to exchange. We cannot use this red bead on the tens board, so we need to exchange it for how many blue beads? That's right, 10. You're very smart. All right, I have 10 beads that are going to move to my blue tens cup. And now don't forget, this bead must be accounted for and put back into a tube. All right, there we go. So now we have 0 beads in our hundreds cup, and that's good. We can make a partial quotient here by looking at that 3rd Skittle on the unit board and seeing how many beads it has. And in fact, it has 1 bead. Now, where am I going to write that number 1? Where will I write it? Well, if you remember from the previous question, which you do, right? Whatever number family, whatever beads and cups are on the board, are on the units board, that tells us where the partial quotient will go. So because I have this tens cup with the tens bead on the unit board, that tells me I'm going to write this 1 for my partial quotient. I'm going to write it above the tens place in the answer. All right, lots of beads here in my tens cup now. Okay, guess what? It is time to clean. You didn't forget that step, did you? How could you? It's one of the most fun things to do, cleaning. All right, I will get rid of my beads. And at the same time, I will also get rid of my red cup because we are done using it. What do you do next? We're going to move that blue cup filled with beads over to the tens board. It is now the largest number family. And now the units cup can come and enjoy some dividing fun. It will be on the units board. Again, we have a family reunion. All right, there are a lot of beads here to share, so why don't you go ahead and start the process, and I will be right behind you. At this point, something tells me that you are a lot quicker at placing the beads on the boards than I am. I don't know. All right, so I've shared my my tens beads, and now I'm moving across to the units beads. And there's still more room for me to share, so I'm going to keep going. I'll continue sharing until it is not a possibility. All right, so I've shared with all of my blue Skittles. Now I need to move over horizontally to the unit board and continue sharing beads. Okay, look at that. We have shared beads, not all of them, but we have shared beads, and there is no more sharing to be done. I cannot share anymore. I cannot share. I could exchange this 110 bead for 10 unit beads, but it's not going to help in the process. This is as far as we can go with this question. So I'm going to take these beads out, and we'll come back to them in a second. But for now, I'm going to leave them right here. All right, and we can record the next part of our quotient by looking at that third skittle on the unit board, and we can see 1, 2. There are 2 beads, so each skittle has received 2 beads. I'm going to represent that over the unit because we are dealing with the unit beads on the unit board. And now let's talk about what is left over. What is left over? We have our answer, but we also have some beads remaining. Do you know what that's all about? Well, that's the remainder. It's literally what's left over or remaining after you've shared everything evenly or equally. So here we have a 10. All right, so we have a 10. We have 110. I'm going to represent that here as a 1. We have 110, and we have 1, 2, 3 unit beads. So I'm going to put a 3 here. All right, so this is known as our remainder, and it is very important to represent the remainder alongside the quotient as they do go together. So here, my answer, 12, remainder 13. You can use a little r to represent remainder. We don't have to write the whole word remainder. And so now we have a complete question, but are we actually done? We need to finish what we started, my friends. We need to clean the board. All right, so I'm going to clean the board of beads, and then I will clear the board of Skittles because we have finished this question. And I will also clear the boards of cups. All right, we are done. This question is complete. You did it. And you did it very well. That's so good. Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel good? It does. And also, isn't math fun? I think math is very fun. And that is it. We are done. I just want to take a moment and thank you for joining me today for this double-digit divisor division lesson using the Racks and Tubes Montessori math material. You should be very proud of all of the hard work you put in today. Good job. And if you ever forget how to use this material, just pull up this video and we can walk through it together again, step by step. It'll be fun. All right. Thank you again and see you next time. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again in my classroom. Bye.